Good afternoon. Welcome again to the panel. I was just presenting my panelists. Ozlem, as I said, has 25 years of experience in delivering future-first strategy and high-impact creative design solutions for brands and businesses. And following her career at MTV Europe, CNN Turkey, British American Tobacco, Procter & Gamble, she ran BrandSeers between 2011 and 2017, and her brand design consultancy in Istanbul. Recently, she has launched her exciting new venture, The Resilient, which will pool all her extensive experience into resilience training and coaching for individuals and businesses. Cuneyt has been active for the last 20 years in tourism, agency, and hotel management businesses. He has also been expert and well-known personality of a very special golf tourism in the UK. And one of the other main expertise of Cuneyt is the online retailing, including B2B and B2C operations. He is now the UK director of BRETZ, Interiors and Furniture. And finally, I worked for almost 50 years as the Secretary General of Turkish Retailers Association, and for the last 4 years, I've been working as a retail consultant in London. I give consultancy services to Turkish retail brands which are targeting the British market. As many retailers and industry experts point out, and as many of you will agree on that, UK has always been one of the most competitive and difficult markets in the world. But at the same time, it provides wide opportunities for international retailers. At this point, I'd like to give you some figures about British retail sector to show the post-lockdown environment in retail. Retail sales rose by 2.8% in July, year-on-year basis, according to the Retail Sales Index. This is the strongest performance since August 2018. This also means that retail sales in the UK bounced back for a second consecutive month, with sales rising on last year's levels. And the interesting point is that home-related categories have continued to benefit most. For example, furniture and flooring rose 9.5%. At the same time, the latest data from Ipsos shows that foothold declined by 53% over the period. This is because of the government restrictions have now lifted in the UK, but some households continue to voluntarily self-isolate. On the other hand, we have witnessed a sharp channel shift towards online. Online sales in the UK rose by 54% in July, which makes this 28% of total retail sales. At this point, I'd like to start with Cuneyt and asking him the following question. Cuneyt, regarding those figures about the online sales in the UK retail, do you think the digital and online channels really are the only way to enter and survive in this market? And when you think of Turkish brands which are keen in entering the market, is it easy or really feasible for Turkish brands to invest in online in the UK?
Hi Ekrem, and hi Ozlem, and hi the other I think the Emine is left. I can't see her anymore. Thank you very much for this beautiful panel. I would like to thank everybody who presents this beautiful panel for us, because of the world has changed already. Actually, the question, it's two answers of this question. I mean, if the first scenario, if they finding the vaccine in the next period, so that means people would go back to their old habits. So they will go out and they will do shopping and they will do whatever the word if left previously. So the second scenario is if there is no effective vaccine in the next period. So this would be the period. So this digital platform will evolve for the next period. So most probably they will. The people would push themselves to another step of to another next level of the digital platform. Actually, as a furniture company, BRETZ, we just investing many digital technologies at this stage. So if this code process extends to a longer time that we thought, this time most probably this digital process that we have passed through will reach maybe 4 or 5 times, will be stronger and faster it will be. So most probably in the last 6.5 months, and this will be bring us to much more better level on the digital area, and it will be much faster. So what we need to do in both scenarios, if we need to speed our digital development and configuration and effective operate our full capacity in our digital addresses on the internet. So we have to push ourselves to invest on the digital market. So there are a couple of areas. So we can, one second, we can put the digital investment on side it. So this is what we're expecting. For this reason, we need to continue investing on a much stronger and more determined way, with the COVID pushing to us investment made digitally. This is actually how I can think.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me on the panel, Ekrem Bey, Emine Hanım, Chris.
Thank you very much.
It's an absolute honor to be here.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you, Cuneyt, for.
You're very welcome, Ekrem.
Yeah, and Ozlem, yeah.
Ozlem, yeah.
Hello. Yep, you can hear me. Yeah, no, I absolutely echo what Cuneyt Bey is saying. You know, what we're seeing essentially is that coronavirus has meant
that Turkish retailers have priceless experience in the world, and they have stores almost in every region. So Turkish retailers have many advantages with skills in design and production, quality delivered at low cost. What do Turkish brands need to know in order to navigate in the UK retail market? What are the major trends we are seeing in today's highly disrupted UK retail market?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really dynamic time at the moment in the retail market. You know, we are seeing essentially what was a retail apocalypse now become even a more critical a crisis for the retail market. But I think what's important to understand is that all the trends that were set to roll out over the next 10 years hasn't changed. All that's happened is that those trends have come forward. You know, I read a statistic the other day to say that the integration of technology, you know, in the matter of 90 days has sort of vaulted 10 years in terms of consumer adoption. So that's the good news. So if anybody's following trends, then they are prepared. The important thing is to really look at those consumer values and shifts and really start to look at what that means to your business model, what that means to your product, your services, your manufacturing capabilities. And there are some major, I would say, trends that I think are particularly important and quite different to the Turkish market, and therefore noteworthy for Turkish investors coming into the UK. Some of them are very long-term investment requiring trends that companies would need to respond to, and some of them are very sort of immediate quick wins. But I think just to sort of take a step back, what's important to do is to really understand where consumerism was before the crisis. You know, we had entered this period of post-growth here. And what we mean by that is this sort of late stage of materialism here in the UK. You know, GDP no longer really being seen as the right metric to measure prosperity and growth. People's values changing quite rapidly around consumerism, and that no longer really representing that shift. And you know, we're in a time of crisis right now, and the Brits and people in the UK have really began to recognise that wasteful materialism, you know, unnecessary ostentatious lifestyles just lack no meaning when it comes to crisis. We're a very vocal nation. There's a lot of democratic free speech, and so when there's political unrest and climate change, it's everybody's topic. And so people were still participating in mass consumption, but caring much more about how that purchase really reflects their world view. And particularly Gen Z audiences, they very much see their consumption as a vote. And so, you know, we're beginning to see that having quite a big impact on, you know, long-term wise, on terms of how brands have to behave in how they support the consumer in making those more ethical choices. 63% of UK consumers, for example, are really concerned about reducing packaging that they're buying, and they want the brands to essentially respond to this consumer attitudinal change. And what with the government policies as well around, you know, driving companies to adopt more ethical products and services, we will see enormous change here. So, you know, whilst there's increased store automation happening, we're in a very hyper convenient era, personalizations happening. We are beginning to expect, consumers are expecting brands to be the ethical guardians and steering them to better choices, and retailers are responding. You know, it's not just about bringing a product in, it's about looking at what service you can provide your consumer base, the community, your employees. And they're taking on new roles, for example, as, you know, dietary advisors or sustainability advisors, educating consumers on issues like plastic usage, or providing them with important personalized health, nutrition advice, and packaging in store. So yeah, there's enormous shift around the trends that would potentially be seen as niche a few years ago to becoming very much the mainstream. And you know, we're seeing the direct to consumer brands and the niche brands almost come in with a more ethical, authentic dialogue and narrative, which is gaining enormous momentum as well within the UK. And actually, all of these small niche brands are beginning to become quite a big threat to the bigger players, because cumulatively they are starting to take a lot of market share, particularly in food and drink. And you know, the other big issue is climate change, and so there is an important shift happening right now in the realization that you have to replace the linear economy that we had here in the UK with a circular one. A circular economy being essentially one that is restorative and regenerative by design. And, you know, because businesses are recognizing that, and they've literally reached that limit, and consumers are expecting that. You know, you can't, the reports that have come out in the last 48 hours from the ICC and the climate change scientists that are tracking what's happening, it is all over the news here in the UK, and it's everybody's topic. Therefore, it's very important for brands coming in to the UK to accept that they need to be part of this shift towards a circular economy. You can't come in and just with a model of taking, making, using and disposing and expecting that to work. I mean, we are going to see an economy here where the future involves no waste, and manufacturing is powered by renewable energy, and it will create savings in the long term. It might not be a short term saving, but you know, I think the Ellen MacArthur Foundation recently produced a report saying that there's going to be a cost-saving benefit of around $600 billion to the entire European economy by 2025, just by taking this restorative approach. So it's not about corporate social responsibility. You can't, as a Turkish company, come in and expect to do some corporate social responsibility around sustainability in a marketing campaign and think that's going to actually appeal to the early adopters in particular, which is very important to attract, I think. As a brand, if you're entering the market, you've got to appeal to the influencers and the early adopters. And, any greenwashing is just not working anymore at all. And so businesses, and it's been fast-tracked because of coronavirus. It's like, like the bottom's fallen out of it. Everyone's been exposed. So businesses that really make those bold, sustainable, environmental commitments and declare them publicly, work with the government, work with communities, will have powerful influence and start to win over that environmental conscious eco-consumer. And, Stella McCartney's using new production methods that allow each element of the shoe to be upcycled or recycled. A very interesting brand, quite niche brand, Pangaya, I'm not sure quite how they pronounce it. It's a clothing brand, direct to consumer, very colourful, bright, Gen Z colours, and they use zero waste circular systems, and they make all of their collection from seaweed fibre, using natural dyes from plants, fruits and vegetables and flour down. And so this is now the benchmark here. A Gen Z will want to wear something that they're proud of, that reflects their views, and because their friends will be talking about it. So it is about that reputation prestige as well. And so, brands that harness this and do it with a startup mentality, with agility and flexibility, they really will start to usher in the innovation and be the ones that really gain. And so they're the two big trends. And the other final trend, I would say, briefly, is this idea that retailers are beginning to use foresight and insight and sophisticated data very closely to identify what the consumer's emerging tastes and needs are, and measuring their innovation accordingly. I think a lot of investment goes into advertising and measuring the effectiveness of advertising. And it's important for any brand coming into the market to really understand how they're going to tie up all of their interfaces and their touch points to create a more integrated experience that caters for personalized experiences to the consumer. AI powered, much more predictive insights will start to allow retailers to become very personalized. And they'll provide products and services that really tune into the customer's moods. The retail store will become something that is a place for a high touch and for building emotional connection, because obviously the digital environment will not really have as much friction as you kind of get in a store. So it's very important to understand what the role of those touch points are on that journey. And so just aligning the supply chain flow to meet and fulfill customer expectations will be really important, and integrating all those data streams seamlessly, linking planning with manufacturing, so that you can use all that information in real time. And that's very important for any leader looking to bring a business into the UK, because they've got to make very fast, agile decisions, and data will be critical to that.
Thank you, Ozlem, for these comments. Cuneyt, one more question. You are in the furniture sector. You are working as the UK director of BRETZ. What are your comments or thoughts when you think your sector? I mean, during these difficult times of pandemic, and after the pandemic or after the lockdown, what changed? Anything changed? And in terms of Turkish brands who are keen in entering the UK market, do you think furniture sector is more advantageous regarding the others, or do you think there should be any difference between the sectors for Turkish brands Is there anyone which is in priority? May I have, please, your comments on those small little questions?
Thank you very much, Ekrem. Hi, Chris. I think you just joined us.
Yeah. Hi to Chris. I don't know if audience can see Chris.
Hi, Chris. Actually, there are a couple of good things and bad things about it, because after the pandemic, people are just stayed at their homes and they just keep focusing on what they have in their houses. Otherwise, I mean, usually, when you live in a big metropolis or the other big cities, I mean, you just keep going in and out from your house because of the workplaces. People are just using their home as just for the like a hotel base, because otherwise, I mean, people are not focusing on where they are living and what they are doing. In this pandemic period, people are just focusing on their lifestyles. Actually, we just have some benefits on that, because people are just keep buying something from us, and they just renew. Some of them renew their houses, some of them they just renew their furnitures and everything. So this is the benefit from the pandemic for us. So because we're working on the large scale projects, actually we're just delivering to large scale projects to the other countries as well. So in the large scale projects, we haven't had any issue, any problem about it. But just as in the retail side, we just closed our shops for a while, almost 2.5 months fully closed. After the April or May, if I'm not wrong. So as far as I remember, in between the May onwards, we just opened our stores in Chelsea. So people are keep coming and buying the small things from us. They were really worried about it, to go outside and to do shopping again. I mean, going back to their old habits. So this is the main reason we just stuck in. So as in the retail basis, we have some problems about it. So we just, I mean, people are coming back to their old habits now. I can see that when I look outside, I can see people are just keep going out and then doing shoppings and on the retail sides. So I'm expecting to, I mean, if there's another scenario, another second lockdown, I'm just, I'm not, I don't want to be negative, but just there are some cases people are just keep reporting from the other countries. So hopefully it wouldn't be a second wave, but just if there will be the second wave, so that means we must invest on the digital platforms, as I said in the previously.
I see. Chris, are you there? I mean, can the audience see Chris? Hi, Chris. A surprise panelist. So maybe a short question for you. Do you have any information, or what is the information for the brands in Turkey? Are they in touch with your association more after the lockdown for the UK market, or isn't there any change?
No, we're seeing inquiries. I mean, companies are looking to expand their export business, and obviously because of the devaluation of the Turkish lira, their products are becoming more competitive. I think the problem comes back to what Ozlem was saying, that the mainstream brands in Turkey, need to be more creative and more inventive in terms of what they've got to offer. I mean, the point she was making earlier, I mean, products have to be functional these days. They have to give more than just design features. They have to be relevant to people's lifestyles, and I think that comes back to Cuneyt. And I just point out that this table at the back here is one of yours.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Coming back to furniture, I mean, I've adapted that to my printer. So I think what you've got to look at is what people, particularly people who will be working from home permanently going forward, they'll be looking for functional furniture. It's not just about having a three-piece suite or a table or whatever. They'll want something where they can work, but they'll also want it to look nice. They want it to fit in with their lifestyle and so on and so forth. So I think design is going to be a bigger issue going forward. But as I say, we've seen from COVID, that things are changing, and a lot of the things that have happened in the way we live, both workplace and personal, will become permanent features going forward. So people will have to adapt to that, and products and brands will also have to adapt to that. We've seen a major downturn in high street retail, big increase in online. Online is all about trust, and it's all about service, and service becomes a more important factor with your brand. And if you forget about service, or you don't pay enough attention to it, then you'll lose your position very quickly. But I mean, what we are finding is UK companies and Turkish companies looking at opportunities where they can actually come together. Turkey's got the manufacturing strength, and UK's got the innovative and creativity. And what we've got to do is bring those two together, and then we'll end up with a very strong relationship going forward.
Yeah, and can I just add to that, Chris?
Yeah.
It's really a great opportunity to change the mindset around who you're going to collaborate with, because the idea of competition has also transformed. Businesses that were potentially previously seen as rivals have now started to collaborate. So I think no rules are the new rules. So you can be very broad-minded in looking at how, as a manufacturing company, who you could potentially collaborate with. There's a lot of opportunity for creative collaborations now, I think, for Turkish businesses in that sense. So it's not even necessarily a case of, like you say, bringing a brand into the UK and trying to invest a lot in building trust and reputation around it, because we are seeing the likes of Amazon and John Lewis and the very established brands almost come in now because they are safe haven, and people are looking for security, and trust, like you say, is very, very important.
Ozlem, maybe we can finish with a last question to you. You mainly commented on this one, but maybe it would be better to emphasize, how can Turkish brands build awareness to cut through in the UK retail market? What considerations do they need to make when looking to penetrate the market?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Turkish companies, the idea of building awareness has always been something that is driven by investment in advertising. And I think the big shift really is that they can't no longer think that they can, it's a case of building and then they will come, or renting a shop on a busy high street and they will sell. The streets aren't busy anymore, creating, we were just talking about, it's not just about the product, it's so much more than that. So relying on comms to push and create desire is not really valid. You have to create a product that answers a need versus trying to create the want. And you'll see from advertising budgets as well have really dropped over the last 90 or so days. So the product's got to be right, and then you've got to make sure that you've got the customer service experience absolutely addressing all of the needs of the consumer. And there's a real new customer journey happening across a number of different categories. The abundance of choice. It's like an unparalleled access to goods at the moment, and a rapidly online environment that is now very much democratized. As an entrepreneur, digital entrepreneur, you can be very disruptive and enter the online market through a direct consumer model. That is just transforming the customer journey and changing all the dynamics. The lines between e-commerce and entertainment and socializing are blurred. Brands are going into homes as entertainers. We're seeing social commerce platforms really come up to disrupt the retail for the next generation. And it's like this merging of social with commerce. So social media is very, very important for anyone to gain traction. We call this pervasive retail, where essentially the consumer is in this position where they can be in this continuous always on shopping mode because of that on-demand retail structure around them. And you know, they're in constant hunting and dreaming mode while they're browsing content. That's where it's happening. And so if you can trigger aspiration at that pre-shopping stage of the customer journey, that's when you can really get those eyeballs, and it's a fertile space for discovering new brands. So seeing large organizations like Inditex, for example, really beginning to invest in implementing full speed implementation of integrated stores that are really driven by that notion offering the customer uninterrupted service no matter where they find themselves or on any device or at any time of the day. So on one level it's very difficult because you know, they're shopping all the time and it can be through any device. On the other side, I think with close research and understanding who you're targeting through social media, I think a lot can be achieved. The other thing is that, like we were saying, purpose really attracts consumers. You know, it's about what they're saying about you. So they're expecting a real sense of purpose, asking, you know, what's in it for me is a big question. And we know that companies that incorporate their social responsibility really do enhance their sales by 20%. So it's not something that doesn't pay dividends over time. And they are happy to step in to act as civic brands for the community that they're in. And that gets conversations going, that gets people to take notice and gets awareness. You know, you really need to leverage the word of mouth as a channel. That's the number one channel. That's what builds trust, and transparency obviously serves trust. So making sure that you are quite clear about your purpose. You know, a purpose is not a vision statement. It's not a mission statement. It's a genuine questioning of, why do I exist? For what purpose should I be here on today's planet? And what need am I serving? And so we're seeing many brands coming into communities, not just opening shops, but really looking at how they can serve the community. And it's those direct-to-consumer brands and disruptive brands that are beginning to serve the community, be much more altruistic, that are the ones getting ahead faster. So looking at that is an important part. And we've seen lots of brands like IKEA, for example, start to change different business models, looking at leasing options for furniture. Nike Plus is a membership platform that, you know, demonstrates the consumer's desire to subscribe for products and services rather than just enter a store and buy a physical product. So looking at disruptive business models also to cater for that very, very sophisticated consumer. They are, you know, fully empowered through information, marketplaces, convenience. Loads of people are competing for their attention, and so they really do rule the retail category. So consumer-driven retail, it is very important. It's not just about shopping on the retail journey. It's really understanding them and looking for opportunities to connect with them through, you know, be it entertainment or well-being, and just look at their life as a whole, and really start to ask yourself as a business, you know, how can you answer their question of, you know, what is the benefit to me, to the world, if I make a purchase? So
thank you very much, Ozlem. I think you will agree all. The UK has always been a target market for Turkish companies, and the interest of Turkish brands towards this market has dramatically grown. As a personal experience, I've been contacted by several companies, including automotive, household appliances, home decoration. Before the lockdown, one of the best known companies of Turkey, they have a store in Germany, and the Germany manager came to London to make a research to get a store, but because of the lockdown, it was interrupted. I think he will come again in a couple of weeks. In one hand, they are looking for new store openings, and on the other hand, for online sale opportunities. the pandemic has, of course, stopped everything and plans changed. But I'm sure it's now time for Turkish brands again to restart all projects and plans for the UK. Thank you very much to all of you, to Chris, and to Ozlem, and to Cuneyt. And hope to see you soon again in London. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this beautiful panel.
Thank you. If anyone has any questions or would like to talk about anything in more detail,
I
please
think there is no question. I mean, the format does not allow to any questions, so we don't have any questions for the moment.
Ozlem, I got one question for you. Do you think that this virtual reality would bring good things in the retail markets? Do you believe that? Because
I think,
like Amazon, there are several companies doing the virtual reality technology in their systems. What do you think about it?
I think we are living in a digital world. I think we are living a very hybrid life of a virtual and real life. If you speak to the Gen Zs of the world, they are very, yes, I would say if you want to appeal to the next generation, you've got to take a digital approach to how you invest in your store and bring that sensorial experience into your strategy. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
If I can, before we go,
Chris.
I mean, digital transition is going to be part of our life now, and it affects all of us, both in business and our personal lives. But when you look at it in terms of brands and the way people will change their purchasing habits, you've got to start now. You can't wait. You've really got to start to embed that digital transition process into your systems, so that if we talk about virtual shopping, I mean we're there already to some extent, but there are some sectors that have a long way to go before they get anywhere near that, and it's more the traditional sectors which will get left behind. So yeah, I mean, digital transition is vitally important. We had a webinar a few weeks ago with Vodafone, and they're spending enormous amounts of money in digital transition, and also working with companies to help them sort of move forward quite quickly. But this is something that everybody has to focus on now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. The future, the winners are very much the ones that have been able to, as leaderships, really integrate digital approach to their strategies. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I think Emine is waiting for us to finish. Thank you for your participation, and thanks to all the audience. Thank you.
Thank you to the whole audience.
Thank you.
Bye.